Now that we've already created our Nintex form, gathering the relevant information from our requester as it pertains to the commercial advertising pack request and any discounts they may wish to receive, we need to build out our workflow. To build out Nintex Workflows, click on List, click on the Workflow Settings button, and then choose Create a Workflow in Nintex Workflow. This will allow you to build out a workflow scoped to the list or library that you're working within. Once we've opened up the Nintex Workflow Designer for SharePoint on premises, what you want to do is start building out the framework of your workflow. In our business process, we allow the user to select a discount. And what we want to do is make sure that within that one request, we're able to get approval for the requested discount and generate a quote if it's been approved and send that information over for signature. Now, we'll need approval from internal sources, but what if our end users are unable to actually access that quote from within our SharePoint environment? Well, that's where we'll want to leverage third-party services, such as Box, as an endpoint to store that document, that quote that we've created. And then we'll have to notify them to sign that newly signed quote. So to do that, we'll have to leverage state machines for complex looping logic. We'll also have to leverage conditional actions to choose if a request for a discount has been made, and also see how high that request for discount is. If everything goes according to plan, what we can do then is generate that document and then choose an external service like Box to store that document in. To make sure that we grab a signature from that externally stored signed quote in Box, we can use Nintex Workflow Cloud, as that will allow us to enable outside sources to grab that document, sign it, and then store it back in a repository of our choice. Let's go ahead and build out this framework. What we'll want to do first is we'll want to go and grab additional information from the building, such as an image URL, to store it in the quote to make a more personalized workflow. To do that, we can use the query list action. And what you want to do is grab query list. Place that action up top, and that's the first action we'll work with. Next, what we want to do is we want to build a state machine logic. So we'll type in state machine and drag over state machine to our Workflow Designer canvas. Next, what we'll want to do is set the appropriate states. So double click on the action and get the configuration screen. The possible states for this workflow are going to be discount review and generate quote. In the workflow, we always want to see if a discount has been requested and get approval if it exceeds a certain value. So we'll choose discount review as the first state. I'll click on save, and you'll notice that these branches of logic now show the title or state that we've set in the state machine configuration. What we'll want to do is now give a little bit more logic to these different states. So within the discount review, first we want to see if a discount has been made. So what we can do is choose the set a condition action. We'll grab set a condition and then determine if a discount has been selected. If no discount has been selected, what we can always do is set it to go to the generate quote stage and bypass any approval as no request for a discount has been made. To change state, what we can do is use the change state action. Because we're going to have to change state regardless if it's been approved or rejected, what I can do is drag that action over and bring it to the yes column too. We'll use this again in a little bit. What I want to do is assign a task to make sure that we can get approval if the requested discount exceeds a certain value. So what we'll want to do is the flexitask action. Take the flexitask action and drop that under the yes branch of the set condition. What I can then do is set the change state under approve to go to the generate quote state, and I can also copy this action and put it under the reject to send it back all over again to have the quote reviewed one more time. What I can also do is send a notification to the requester to let them know that it has been rejected. Using the send notification action, I'll place that right above the change state to ensure that the notification is sent before we reevaluate the approval price. What I want to do next is move over to the Generate Quote section. Now, to generate the quote, what we want to do is use document generation. Take the document generation action and place that first so you can generate the document. What we'll do is be able to take the stored output document from the generated document and then store that document in Box. And so what we'll want to do then is type in Box and grab the Box upload file action to store in a Box repository to allow anonymous access users or users that we delegate access to the repository of the quotes to grab their quote and sign it. Next, what we'll do then is start a Nintex Workflow cloud workflow to get them to sign that workflow, leveraging Nintex Workflow Cloud. So taking a look at the overall framework, what we wish to do is grab relevant information from other lists, such as building, to grab a building URL, take that information, and we can store that in a variable to be used later on in document generation. Next, we use a state machine for complex looping logic to go between a discount review and generate quote stages of our workflows. Within the discount review, we're going to set a condition to look at the value of the discount requested. If it exceeds a certain value, then what we need to do is send it off to a task where it can be approved and sent over to generate the quote with all the relevant information and approval, or it can get rejected where we'll notify the initiator and then set the stage back to review the new discounted quote. If the discount has not been requested, what we can do is use the change state action to automatically flip it to the generate quote stage where we will go ahead and generate the quote. Using document generation as the first action and generate quote, what we'll be able to do is generate the relevant quote information, taking any subsequent data from the query list to generate a more customized quote for our end user. Using the document that's been generated from our document generation action, we'll be able to go and upload that document to Box. So that way users that are outside of our SharePoint environment are able to access that document, review it, and sign it and send it back to us. To be able to notify them and give them access and track it, what we'll want to leverage is Nintex Workflow Cloud. And that's where we grab the Start Workflow and Nintex Workflow Cloud action to go and connect to an external workflow. Next, we'll go and start configuring these actions to get a deeper dive into what we want to do.